So for the 2017 Hult Prize Challenge, students will be asked to develop new social enterprises that reduce the human cost of involuntary migration, with the goal of measurably restoring the rights and dignity of 10 million refugees. We don't have any time to waste. I hope that teams from around the world will answer the call and soon be busy, given the level of innovation and the urgency of the task.
Welcome to the UN. Let me officially say that the Hult Prize kicks off Global Girls Week. Thank you.
The 2017 Hult Prize Challenge is all about refugees, but rather than look at the challenges that they face, we look at the opportunities that come about from one of the world's largest migrations that's ever taken place, and putting the Hult Prize entrepreneurs directly in line and in trajectory to have impact where the world needs us most.
We challenge them to aspire to be job creators, not simply job seekers.
So, you guys ready? Got 3 more. Okay? And these next 3 are all amazing, like the first 3. And it's, again, judges, no one envies your job later this evening. But this next team really represents what Hult Prize is all about. International, young, enthusiastic, challenging the status quo. They hail from many different countries, including Vietnam, India, Canada. They're from York University. And the name of their company is Empower. And we had the great luxury of spending time with them during the summer. And they knew connectivity was their issue. But they presented in the regionals some hardware. Then they came into the incubator and went to software. And then they went back to hardware. And then they went literally every week. It was a challenge that they had with their mentors, with our team, until they finally landed on what you guys will see today, which I think is a lights out product, and I wish you guys the best. Good luck.
Good evening. We are Empower, and we provide refugees with reliable, fast, and affordable access to the power of the internet without them needing to go online. 30 years ago, my mother and father spent 3 years in a refugee camp. And during that time, they were separated from their families, had limited access to information, and no opportunities to improve their lives. When I was in the Naka Valley refugee camp in Uganda last month, I noticed very little has changed for opportunities available to refugees. I met Julian. He arrived 13 years ago, and his phone, one of his most valuable possessions, could be his portal to opportunity. Services available on the internet can allow Julian to go to school, learn new skills, even earn an income. If we could provide Julian with the internet, we can change his life.
And he's not alone. Over 4 billion people are still not connected to the internet. 350 million of those in East Africa are defined as refugees. And a majority of them still own a phone. They still face significant barriers in getting online. First, cell service is unreliable. Due to the lack of infrastructure in these remote communities, Julian is often without access. And if it is reliable, then it is simply unaffordable. Refugees spend more than 1/3 of their income on staying connected, often prioritizing connectivity over basic necessities such as food and shelter. So between reliability and affordability, there is an access gap, where refugees fall behind in their education, drop out of the employment cycle, miss crucial health updates, and critical pieces of information.
Introducing EmpowerNet, an intelligent web browser that provides reliable, fast, and affordable access to the internet offline. When we were in the field, we noticed that over 70% of internet users were accessing the same content. So we built a web browser that uses machine learning to study those patterns and predictively store the content that most people want to see so that we can deliver the internet experience offline. That is our innovation. It's last mile content caching, and it means people can decide what makes the internet powerful for themselves. And this is how we bring EmpowerNet to users like Julian step by step. First, we install our unique software and router system that form mobile hotspots in the community centers of refugee camps and urban settlements with the help of our partner, Interaid. Interaid is Uganda's largest refugee implementation organization, so they have the resources to help us. We then download and host relevant content from the internet as well as our world-class content partners. And we update the content available at each hotspot through a data connection provided by our partner, MTN. MTN is Uganda's largest telecom provider, and they're giving us extremely affordable data rates. And finally, we employ youth and women to manage and maintain each hotspot, which can serve up to 1,000 users.
For Julian, it's as simple as connect, launch, browse. Julian connects to our Wi-Fi hotspot, which launches our EmpowerNet browser, just like when you connect to Wi-Fi at your local coffee shop. Now, Julian can browse through our digital library, learn new skills, and even get a job. We've partnered with over 30 leading content providers, including Khan Academy, Wikipedia, and Harvard, providing high-quality internet content to Julian's fingertips. Our mobile hotspots cost us $50 to install, and we earn revenue through a subscription model. Currently, Julian pays $4 a month. With EmpowerNet, Julian only pays $2 for unlimited access to highly relevant and localized content on our browser. And this is how we close the access gap. Now, Julian has extremely affordable and reliable access to the power of the internet. We're ready to launch. Our team has deployed our solution with the UNHCR across 3 refugee settlements for the past 2 months. We connected a village of 750 people in just 1 day. And we have the right partners to scale across 5 different regions. And even more exciting, we have 10 signed agreements with institutions ready to use our solution. That's 1,700 units, $500,000 in revenue, and over 170,000 refugees impacted immediately. We've already invested $50,000 with our software and our EmpowerNet browser and router system ready to launch, with an additional $130,000 raised from one of Canada's largest educational institutions. In order to achieve our goals, we can invest $1 million immediately to do 3 things: fund our operations, market our solution, and build our training program. And ultimately, we could help over 1 million refugees get connected to the internet by 2022. So what does this mean for Julian? Now, Julian can get educated. He can get a job to support his family and community. And he's not alone. We met hundreds of people just like Julian.
We are Empower, working towards a vision of a more connected world. Thank you so much.
Okay, now it's done. Great, absolutely great presentation. You can feel their energy. In fact, the team has so much energy that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau actually spent Valentine's Day with them this past year. But it's a testament to the Hult Prize network. You heard Mohammed talk about John Chambers. Do you know where he met John Chambers? Right there on that judging panel from the previous year. The 2016 winner you just saw present a little earlier, Bupass, that Kenyan railway deal facilitated by Bob Collymore. Do you know where they met Bob Collymore? Bob was a judge right there. So what does that tell us? That tells us that every single person in the room can help these entrepreneurs, and doing so will help the sector. So with that, judges, you guys ready? I bought you a little time for the Q&A.
Yeah. Hi. again, well done, super enthusiasm. Thank you all. And if you can truly provide reliable, affordable access, you're solving one of the biggest challenges out there. So help me understand a little bit better how you decide, or how your technology, predictive technology, decides what slice of the internet to make available to your offline customers. Is there a balance between entertainment, education, job content? How does that work?
Slide 32, please. So right now, the technology that we're working with uses the browsing data of people to determine what content to re-upload and make appear for them. And the pilot study that we did used content across a variety of sectors, but what we found the most popular content to be was actually in the education sector. So we went in with a bunch of assumptions thinking people would really just want the entertainment content, but there's a huge demand and a big resource gap really in the education sector, and that content has really been the most popular for us. So we partner with content providers and bring their content to the platform, and we also download content off the internet and bring it to the platform, but ultimately we let users decide what they want to see, and it's so far been education content that's been wildly popular.
So on the last point, you said that you want users to be able to decide what they see, but if it's cached content through AI or some mechanical algorithm, does that really actually happen? I'm still struggling with the business model. $4 for an open internet, anything, anytime, anywhere if they can get it, and $2 for cached content that you're deciding. So it seems incongruent with your last statement.
So the $4 that they're paying really doesn't get them access to the open internet because it buys them so little of that. They get up to 250 megabytes, which is, as we all know, enough to just browse for a few hours or watch a couple videos. So even though intellectually it would seem like they're getting access to the open internet, it's actually far more limiting than access to the EmpowerNet is, because we have curated content across a variety of sections of the internet, brought things offline that previously were never available to them, and give them the opportunity to access it. And then we study the browsing patterns.
But then you just said that they're browsing videos. It's, again, incongruent with looking for educational or employment opportunities if you're saying they're getting 250 minutes and what they're using that on is to actually do browsing and video.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I fully understand the question.
So your mechanical is looking at limiting what they can actually see, but what you're saying the pattern is what they're doing is for their 250 minutes looking at videos.
So the pattern is also looking at the content that we provided them with during our pilot study and analyzing how they were browsing through that content, and we use that to also build our algorithm. So it was a mixture of content available over a live internet connection and content available through a cached server, and the patterns actually aligned very clearly, so it wasn't incongruent.
Thanks, Daryl.
As the price of data falls rapidly in these emerging countries, how will you be able to compete?
So one thing that we learned throughout this process and being on the ground was that we're actually not a competitor with telecom companies who provide data packets, because we provide a value-added service to people who face more than just an affordability barrier in getting online. One of the big reasons why people struggle to get access to the internet and stay active digital citizens is because they don't see a clear use case for the internet in their lives, and they don't understand the relevancy of it due to digital literacy issues. So the curated and structured nature of our product allows us to build an internet experience that keeps people coming back for more than just communication, WhatsApp, Facebook. It's really a value-added service that enhances the data connection that they buy from a telecom, and we've been able to partner successfully with the largest telecom provider in Uganda because they see us as an opportunity to open up a new market for them.
I have a question regarding the smartphones that they would be using. So I assume since internet is expensive and unreliable, a lot of people, the majority, would actually use the small, the low quality telephones. And so for them to buy the type of phones that could use the videos, would show these things, that's a huge expenditure. How is that going to happen?
So our platform is actually fully compatible with any Wi-Fi enabled phone, and that includes both smartphones and feature phones. And when we piloted our solution in Uganda, our platform was fully compatible with the feature phones that people had there. But interestingly, smartphone penetration is a lot higher than we think it is. In southern Uganda, up to 60% of refugees own a smartphone. So its device affordability is coming down, and the barriers that are preventing people getting online are really reduced.
Time. Thank you very much.